All right, we are recording. Welcome to the Mastermind hot seat call for Thursday, September 28th, ladies. Like,
Crazy.
holy moly, so amazing. Let's hop right in. What do you think? I'm game. All right, Danielle, I'm dying. Like, you
I
have to
know.
go.
I'm like,
Like,
what?
you gotta get it off. Like, let us. So
I
I'm
don't know.
feeling like this reframe rather than like what's something that's working well and what's a challenge for you. What's something that's working well and what are you open to receiving feedback for or on?
Ooh.
Well, let me.
Yeah, you go, girlfriend. We want to hear it all.
What's working well is my business is working really well.
That's good.
It is. I'm psyched. I'm not complaining. Today, I'm like, I'm so busy. I have so many people to like email back, and not like I'm making tons of money yet, but it's all like, just everything's happening at once.
Yeah.
And I have employees starting with new people, and I have, clients that I thought were going to need 2 days, need 5 days, and then I'm going away to Texas for 3 days, and so I'm not going to be here. And like it's just hit me today. I had a little moment of panic where I was like I'm super excited because I just looked at my like book for the week, and I'm like, wow, I made more than I usually make. Like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I taught a big class last night, and I sold 2 golden retrievers, and then somebody just wanted a crow, and I'm like, my little cha-ching sound went off, and I was like, no, I can't. Yeah, I have that other business. So, so that's all great, except I just like got this wave of like, oh my God, this is a huge responsibility. Like, this is way more than I normally do. And I just got a little scared, not scared, like I know I can do it all, like not like okay, forget it. I mean, like
Yeah.
just like, well, I got to get myself organized. Like if you saw my desk behind you right now, and my dishes in my sink, and my laundry piled up, and my emails not returned, and like I'm just like, I have so many little details in my brain. I feel like it's gonna explode. So in a good way, I know I can do it, but so I'm just
Okay.
like, oh.
It's okay. I say allow for yourself to feel those feelings. Like
Yeah.
let it come, like especially in those overwhelmed times or like those like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And I don't want to be ungrateful, but like this is a lot. Like we tend to like we tend to try to skirt around it and not let ourselves just get fully immersed in like the whoa, like this is happening. So like my first bit of advice is like let yourself feel the feels, right? Like and then give yourself the grace of prioritizing, like getting it down on paper, what needs to be done first. Third, go to Texas and have fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't get so caught up in like the oh my gosh, how am I going to get this all done? Like enjoy. Remember, find joy in the process. Find joy in the journey. Nikki, I see your wheels turning. What are your thoughts for her?
Yeah, I totally agree with the feeling at first because we do that, right? We're like, I'm overwhelmed, but I don't have time to stop and think about how I'm overwhelmed. But I agree with Jillian that if you allow yourself to be like, I'm overwhelmed, and it's okay that I'm overwhelmed, and I'm psyched for all this new stuff going on.
Yeah.
But it's okay to be overwhelmed right at first.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot, and that's okay. Because you can rock it out, and you know that, and you're confident in that.
I do. I know I can. I just feel like when and when am I going to sleep? And yeah, I just don't want to
But don't
disappoint.
worry about when you're going to sleep yet. Like, don't, like,
No.
well, but like, don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Be in the
don't,
now.
I wouldn't think about that. Just, I'm overwhelmed, but it's going to be okay. And then, yeah, like Jillian said, get those things, the stuff that needs to get done, get it done. Sleep is one of those things.
No, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I
But
will.
I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank you. Me too. I'm really psyched that this is all, because that was my biggest fear. Like, I'm going to hire all these people. I'm not going to have any work for them. So it looks like I will have work for them. And I haven't even like changed my website yet or really advertised. And the other business I haven't done anything with lately. Well, I mean, I taught a class last night, but I feel really good about that because I know like once I get this kind of settled a little bit and everybody's with their new client and I've contacted, it's just like there's so much to do when somebody new comes along and they need all this stuff and you need to like be there with their family and you need to set things up and then you need to introduce your client. There's just like so many things right at first, but once it's set up and they start working, it's like I'm making money while they're working. And I know that it's a lot right now, but so yeah, so I just need to prioritize. I don't know where I was going with that, but but yeah, I just need. I know I can do it. It's just it's like this too shall pass,
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna be happy, really happy that I did all this, Yeah.
Well, and one thing that just popped up too is like during this process, are you actively teaching other people how to do what you're doing right now? Like all this stuff, like eventually when the next big wave comes in, because it's going to keep happening, right? Like that's what happens with the growth time. Like can some of your employees that maybe have been with you and are transitioning with the new employees or your new employees, can they literally do what you're trying to do right now? Just forward thinking.
I mean, well, kind of. So I have Nancy, who is really, she used to be a nurse and she's really take charge and, confident and like she can handle it. At first it was a little bit annoying, but now I'm actually grateful because like I called her and I was like, okay, I don't have time to introduce you to this client. Can you just pick them up and take them to these 2 doctor's appointments first thing in the morning? And this is the address. And she's like, yeah, no problem. So that's great. Like my other 2 employees, they would have freaked out. Like one of them would have freaked out. And the other one would have been like, oh, okay. And then I wouldn't have felt comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and something got canceled that really worked out really good for me. So that was good until next week. And so, yeah, I'm starting to be able to trust them. And even Grace, who doesn't have a ton of confidence, was like willing to like, I'll go with you on Sunday and meet this person. I can fill in, she's starting to feel more confident too. And Heidi's really new. So I really haven't trained her that well or anything yet. She has had a couple clients, but she's not ready to like do anything on her own, like with her own initiative.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can see how that will turn into that. Yeah.
So walk us through what it is that's going on up here right now, because I feel like once you say it out loud, it's really going to help you with getting through the process. Oftentimes when we keep like, oh my gosh, everything I have to do up here, it seems really amplified. Like I'm sure it's a lot, but it probably feels heavier than it has to. So like walk us through it. Tell us what it is you have to do.
So yeah, well, I don't even know where to start.
That's okay. That's okay. And you know what? That's why I'm having you do this, so that it's easier for you to start when it's you by yourself.
So I have to email back email or text or call a couple of the new clients that have had new people with them, because I need to call their families and say, this went well. And, here's what we're going to do. What do you think? And what do you need? What do you think? Go from here, like set up service, like not set up services. I've already done that, but like what do you think? 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and here's what happened. I just need to get back to them. I feel like impatient about that because they're new and I don't want them to think I'm not on top of this and I'm not going to check in with them. So that's the first thing I need to do probably, but it's late now and tomorrow I have to work. I have to work with my own clients. So I can't go I'm going in the bathroom and you might hear some noise while I'm on the phone. I don't know when, I can't, it's so hard because I'm with Barbara till 1. And in between 1 and 1:30, maybe I could call back a client, while I drive to Kathy's, So I've got my clients and then I've got setting up because I'm going to Texas, I have to set up, these people are taking care of some of my clients too. Mm-hmm. So I have to email them all that. And then I have to do my payroll because I have to get their pay and I have to get all my client bills out, which is now I don't know, 11 clients or something. So I need to send them all bills. And when I send the bills, they want an update about their family, about their person. So I kind of have to like think of some stuff to say and not think of it, but just say, it's going great. And this is what we did, or this is what happened. So I have to do all that. And then so that's the main thing. I did have this person that was going to need services immediately starting like Sunday. And so I was going to have to set all that up. So that has now been postponed for a week. So that's awesome. But I need to like email my, 2 of my employees with a bunch of information about times and addresses they need to drive people to and stuff while I'm gone. And then I need to pack. I need to do all my house stuff, my laundry, my dishes. I got to give my dog a bath. It's just so. And I have to get the house ready for my dog sitter to come and stay here. And I have some animals to make, but that doesn't need to be done right away. And I just have to email back a couple people about that. And I have to deliver some birds, and I've got a bunch of notes here, here and there.
That's good. This is really, really good. So remember at one of our very first calls, I said, ask for what you need, right? So in and among all of this, who can you ask for help to do some things?
Well, I did ask Grace. I said, Grace, instead of me emailing you all this information, can I just call you and have you write it down on a piece of paper or something? Because I don't have time to sit and email it. It's just be so much easier if I could just say it and you can write it for yourself. And she said, no problem. So I'll do that this weekend. And I'm interviewing 2 new employees too, so that I have to get ready for that because I have to look at their resumes again and figure out who they are. And I mean, I know who they are, but I gotta like say, oh, what's their experience? And I've got my whole employee questions I'm going to ask them. So that's good. I feel good about that. And I've got my employee manual. Oh, and then I've got a bunch of insurance stuff to deal with, but my insurance agent has pretty much taken care of that. So that's good. I don't know. I mean, it's really just like tons of little details.
Well, so I'm looking at this. So I have your list right here.
Thank you. Can you just?
Yes. Yes, I will. My first question, the first thought that popped up is when you email new clients, do you have a template? Like, do you have a general rundown that you go through with every client that you could like create a Word document or create a Google document for? Like, I say this all the time, right? And that could make the emailing process just go a little bit faster. Or do you have a form like, maybe it's like even like an update on your person, and then you can say like you kind of break it down into like paragraph chunks, like here's the update on your person, and you fill it in. So like you don't have to think about like I have to write all that out. It's kind of like you give it yourself a prompt and you respond to it so that they know. So here's the schedule that you can look forward to. Here's an update on your person here, like, or your family member or whatever, like here is who's going to be serving you or whatever it is that you normally put in there.
Well, I normally all my clients, I'm so, close with them over the years, their families and stuff, that we just like talk about our kids and like, oh, what's right again, like, so it's a little bit different, but with new ones and with people that I don't actually work with now, it's different. So I can do that.
Yeah.
I can create that. Like with my old, with my regular people, I've established this personal relationship with their family. So it's like a personal thing, and I only email them now, like pretty much because everything usually goes smooth. I only email them if there's some issue or something, but or for my bill, to send my bill every 2 weeks, and I bill every 2 weeks. So I got my payroll and my billing on the same week. So that's good. So I have a week that I don't have to do that every other week. But template. And for my OWL stuff, I have kind of done that. I mean, I haven't created the template, but what I do now, because people are always asking me if I can come teach class. So now I just copy and paste from the last person that, or several people ago, that I said, here's what the price is, here's what you get, here's what I can do, here's my time. So I just copy and paste that from it.
Yeah.
I change the name and I change the dates. So
Perfect.
I do that. Yeah. So I should come up with some systems. That's what I feel like. I feel like I don't have a system. I feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna screw this up. Like today,
No,
I was
you're
like,
not.
screw this up. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. I couldn't even remember. Like I write things down all the time, but who knows where I put them? And like I'm not organized enough. I mean, I feel like I'm not a disorganized person. I get everything done and I get everybody where they need to be, but I'm a bit absent-minded because I feel like I don't have a system. I have no system. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your brain's your system right now, and that's what maybe is overwhelming you.
Yeah.
I think that's why I write so much down, because if things are in my head, I literally can't think straight. It's kind of like we've been living out of my office because we have a guy doing our master bathroom, and this room has been so cluttered, and it feels like when my brain's cluttered, like I just feel claustrophobic, and I'm like, I can't think in here. It's just too much.
I'm like that too. I have to have like that. That's the thing. My house is
And
so
take it out.
it clutters my brain too.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the house is like all clean and organized, everything's put away, I feel like peaceful.
It feels good.
Write everything down, but I just get so busy that I can't keep up with it, and then I kind of let everything go. And I do write stuff down everywhere, but I don't have I don't have like, because this is all so new with the employees and everything, I don't have I don't know how to like organize like their schedule every week and my like I have my schedule on a chart.
Mhm.
Like I don't even need it anymore because I know where I'm going, but now I've got all of them and all of their clients, so I'm like, should I make them their own like for me to look at, or should I lump them all together, or I'm just trying to figure out how to get it all. I like to like look at it on paper, like on the wall, like in the computer, because Dave's like, why don't you just get an app for that? And I'm like, yeah, but it's too small and I can't see it.
What if you got a like something for the wall, like an actual calendar or whatever, and just assigned everybody a different color marker?
Yeah. I know that's kind of what I did. I did kind of do that, but I need it to be bigger, so I need like a big whiteboard or something.
Yeah.
For things like that, like in system creation, it has to be like your first instinct, right? Like sometimes we even think too much, too long about the systems that we want to create, and it just makes our simplified system like super convoluted. So I would say trust your gut instinct with that. But this is a really cool opportunity for you to make some new systems, right? Like, what is it that's going to feel good with what getting all this stuff down or done, and then like Nikki said, taking it out of your head, because what you want right now is like mindlessness. You want to get things done in a very like wholehearted way, but you don't want to take up brain space, because your brain space it should be reserved for the growth of your company, not the I gotta get this like the crap done, right? Like the little tiny details.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to work on that as soon as I get a minute.
When are you going to Texas?
I'm going in the middle of the night, Sunday night, and I'm coming back Wednesday in the middle of the night. So yeah, late.
So you've got time. The house stuff is going to take care of itself, right? Like, one thing that I like to do is challenge myself. Like every time I walk out of the room, walk with something that belongs in another room so that I can just put it away. Like I'm going there anyway. Like in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I look around my room and I'm like, okay, what laundry was left here from last night? Because I'm going downstairs anyway. I might as well bring the laundry that's on the floor. That's just, let's be honest, just going to stay there unless I move it, and bring it downstairs.
Right. And that's part of my problem. I'm kind of like, okay, I don't have time for any of this stuff now. So I'm just going to do it all on Saturday morning or all on Friday night or whatever. And then things just get, keep going and going. But like, if I have like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, I really need to practice that, because I'm always like, I'll just do it all at once. I like to do everything at once, So I do need to change, because I don't have an all at once anymore. I don't have that kind of time anymore. So,
right.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way.
So let's reframe that though. Let's reframe that to like, instead of like, I got to figure that out. Like I got to practice. Like I get to do that. Like, this is what a cool opportunity for me to step into something that I get to create for this season of my life, right? Like, past seasons of your life, you have been able to go all in and get it all done in one sweep. Like, who doesn't love doing that? Oh my gosh. That's the feeling of spring cleaning, right? Like, nothing else matters. I'm gutting out everything and I'm going to get it done. But if that's not the season you're in right now, then what a cool opportunity you have to like grow into the season that you've got going on, right?
Yes. And I think it would help me in every way too, because I'm always like, okay, I'll answer all those emails later when I have time to sit down and do it. And I've got to answer them in between clients or whatever. I have to pull over the side of the road or, yeah. So I need to change. You're right. I need to change my thinking about that. No.
For me, I like to find like, where do I have little gaps in the day and how can I maximize on the gaps?
Yeah.
Because if I can maximize on the gaps, I have okay, so literally this is what I did before this call. Michael and I were talking on the couch, and then Cameron, there's the Cumberland Fair. We live 2 miles from the fairground, and you can hear the monster trucks right now. So Cameron's like, I'm scared. And like Michael knew that I had to call, so he knew he was like on duty for that. So I looked at my clock on my phone. I was like, all right, it's 7:49. How many things can I get done in the next 11 minutes? And I busted out a post. I created a image that I'm going to post into one of my challenge groups. Like, all the little things, right?
Yeah.
That, like, could have waited, but like, just, I mean, I'm done after this call, right? Like, I want to give you guys all my energy, and then like, I'm pretty much toast at the end, right? For anything else. So what can I do now? What can I do in that 11 minutes? So like, where do you have 11 minutes? Where do you have 4 minutes during the day where it's like, okay, what can I do right now so that I don't have to do it later?
Right.
I was going to say, do you, or ask, I guess, are you willing and able to do that new client call on your like half-hour drive that you said?
I do talk. Yeah. I talk on the, I do that a lot. Yeah.
Because I do, and I don't know if you record it, because that's always my concern. Like, if I'm doing client calls in the car, I forget if I'm not writing things down. So I use, there's lots of different apps you can use to record your call, but then that way you can, if you miss something, you can go and refer back to it.
Because if I'm in the car, that's the thing. Like, I had this important call tonight, new information and stuff that we had to exchange. And I'm like, I can't do this in the car because I can't write this stuff down. And yeah, that would be great. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And I do, like, when I try to, I hate driving because I'm like, I can't multitask as much. Like, I can't do, but I always do, like, I leave myself voice memos. Like, I write blog posts a lot when I'm in the car, actually, and I just talk through it. And then when I get on my computer, I can just write it out, or like copy and paste it.
That's a great idea.
Because I'm like, it drives me nuts. Like, especially if I'm stuck in traffic or something, because I work from home, so I never have to drive.
Yeah.
So, like, when I do, I'm like, I need to make good use of this because it drives me nuts.
And I drive a lot. I drive between 4 clients, or sometimes I drive to a class like far away. Yeah. That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
I'm glad.
That's a super idea. I'm also looking at your list, Danielle. You've got like 3 different things of like, I got to email these people. Like, you use the word email in a couple different things. Like, I have to email new clients, I have to email my employees, and I have to email about the birds. So can you give yourself a half-hour sit-down time that you are literally going to get through all of your email and bust them out? Even if it's after this call, right? Like,
yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Who do you have to email and get them all done? Because when you can get all your email out of the way, that, first of all, that's 3 huge things out of this list that you just check off immediately. And then you literally feel like, oh, that's done. Like, if you got one of them done, it would feel like good, but you know that you have to get back into your email for other things too. So it's kind of like releasing the email energy by getting all of them done at that one time.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good idea too. Yeah, like have an email block.
We on my Beachbody team, we call it like a power hour. Like, what can you do? What can you do when you're sitting down? Like, you've got that like 1 hour slot, and you've got to talk to X amount of people, make X amount of content, and like bust through. And so, but we break it down into like, what can you either break it down by time or by task.
Mhm.
But you know, if you are sitting down at the computer anyway and you're going to get email done anyway, wouldn't it be awesome to give yourself that like power surge of just emailing?
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. Like I do try to do like I do all my billing and my
Mhm.
payroll at the same time. Like I've got that. I like to do like I really like doing payroll for some reason, and I like that stuff. So I do. I like do that Saturday morning. I'm taking an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever it is to do all that together, and I do. Then it's like that whole task is done. My
Mhm.
client's sending me money. I'm sending my employees money. That's all done. So that's every 2 weeks I do that. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Gonna cross it all off a list too. Yeah.
One other kind of tidbit that I was thinking of is I know that you love your morning time, like your daily vacation, right? Like,
Oh
you,
yeah, except that lately I've been so busy at night that I haven't been doing it.
well, that's kind of what I was just going to ask you is, have you still been being true to that for your you time? But I was going to flip it on its head. So hear me out with this. If you've got a ton going on at night and you're exhausted, so you're not getting up and you're not taking care of yourself, why don't you flip it? Why don't you get up in the morning at 5 and get some of the work stuff done? I don't suggest this for like long term forever and ever, but I do suggest it in small snippets during busy seasons because have you ever heard of the book Eat That Frog?
Yes, yes.
So it's doing the thing that you don't want to do first because then you get it done and it's like, yeah, that's done. So what if you use your daily vacation time to actually get your work done, get the stuff out of the way, and then move your true vacation time, the journaling, the reading, to nighttime when you're toast anyway.
Exactly. Because in the morning my brain starts going first thing. I and then I'm staying up at night doing stuff. I'm not good at night. Like I'm after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm just a zombie anyways. I can't learn anything new. I'm just not good. But at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, I am wide awake and full of ideas. And yeah, so that's a good idea. Maybe for just a little while until I get this
Just
all under control. Yeah.
just for a little bit, but I tend to think that you're spending a lot more time on your tasks than you need to because our brains are wired to shut down at night. But you'll still be able to feel that like that self-care of like winding down. So
Yeah, that's nice at night too, because I'm always so tired. I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Like,
man,
can you imagine like grabbing a book and like reading it in bed and knowing that all your work literally was done 12 hours ago, 14 hours ago, whatever it was, right?
oh, great.
18 hours ago sometimes. Right? But like, so I suggest that. I mean, I am a huge fan of getting up and getting self-care done in the morning, getting in, you know, journaling, meditating, praying, whatever it is. But there are some seasons that's not working because my brain won't turn off with work stuff. But then at the end of the night, when I want to keep pushing, that's not working either because I'm just not functioning at that high level.
Right, right. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to try that because it's not working right now. Yeah.
And I think that will get you out of bed too, right? Like when we like add a different flavor to our day, it's like, okay, I want to get up for that, right? Like we get into, even if it's good stuff, even if it's journaling and meditating, which we all look forward to, but like if it gets mundane, it's like, oh, I could sleep in an extra 10 minutes, right? So I think mixing it up, it's kind of like doing different workouts, right? Like eventually your body's going to plateau. Like you got to like insert something different in there to kickstart you again. So I say flip it. Get your I have to get this done work done in the morning. So then you A, feel super accomplished, B, feel less stressed, and C, are able to wind down at night with that self-care.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that starting tomorrow.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I love that. And I will tape up what I have for you and send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Have that.
Okay, thanks.
How do you feel? Do you feel better?
Yes, Yes, I do. Because I'm going to just do all this in the morning.
Yeah.
Just relax after this. I mean, I'm just going to look at a few things, but I'm going to, no, it doesn't matter if I do it tonight or if I do it at 5 o'clock in the morning, because the person's probably in bed anyways, whoever I need to say whatever to. So.
Right. That's true. Right. Exactly.
It's not going to matter at this
No.
point.
It's like a 5-second difference between now and then. So isn't that funny? Like when you look at the end of the night, you're like, oh, well, nobody's awake now and nobody's going to be awake in the morning either. So I can still get it done.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving. I'm just the dog
out. Good.
Yeah,
That feels good. And Texas is going to be so much fun.
it is. Oh, I can't wait to see my son.
I know.
Too long.
It's going to be so great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right, Nikki, you're up, girlfriend. How can we help you?
All right. So let's see. Are we doing like 2 things, or is
whatever you want? I think like having the guide of like what's gone well and what are you willing to receive help with, like that's helpful. But like with such a small group, it's just we also have the freedom to really go wherever we need. So you run it.
Well, I had a couple of things anyway, so I'll just talk through it. So for Danielle to kind of catch up, so Jillian and I talked earlier this week, which was awesome because it got my brain churning about all sorts of good stuff. On my NikkiOng.com front, I had been thinking about from another mastermind group that I'm in about doing membership groups, like a monthly fee to like join a group and get access to all this awesome content and do like challenges where with like journaling, for example, and I would do all sorts of different series, but with journaling, it would be like, I don't know, 10 weeks to discovering really what you really want in life, or, you know, whatever it is. And where Jillian really helped me was we started talking about like collaborating a little, and then that got my wheels turning about, well, I don't need to be an expert in like every little thing, because I feel like I'm a pretty intuitive person, but Jillian, I mean, you're like, some of the questions you ask, I'm like, did you just see inside my soul? Like, what's happening? It's amazing. And so I'm like, why? I just started thinking, why try to rely completely on myself for everything when I could find people that are really good at what they do and bring them in. So I'm started thinking about like, well, maybe Jillian can help me and we can collaborate by, you know, asking really good prompting questions for your journal and like getting to this end point with whatever challenge we're doing. And then maybe I can reach out to some like really amazing artists that do really beautiful work in their journal. Cause like, I think mine's cool and I think I'm good at like organizing things, but there are people that do these just like beautiful drawings and things like that. So then I'm thinking like, maybe I could bring them in and maybe they could like put together a template for me and then we can include that. So I'm just like, my wheels are really turning, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And then I talked to, Jillian and I we talked about her the other day, Heidi, a girl we went to college with, who is a mom of 3, kind of all ages, like 2 to 10. It's crazy. And she works full time at her parents' business. And she's just like a rock star mom, you know, she like does everything, and all the kids do sports, and she's just always doing something. And she is this amazing creative person. She draws, she paints, and I don't know if you know, actually, Danielle, her family owns Do Animal Kingdom up in Mount Vernon. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I don't think so. But that's
you have to go. Have you been, Jillian?
No. I gotta bring the boys. Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a zoo in the middle of nowhere. It's amazing.
So cool.
It's so cool. And her parents, and actually they go in with the animals, like they play with the tigers, like it's nuts.
Gosh,
It's
wow.
so cool.
I wanna
So
do that.
anyway, what's that?
I would want to do that. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I would work at like SeaWorld or something.
Yeah. I worked there one summer in high school, and it was incredible. They still have a lion that I helped like bring up.
So cool.
It's so cool. I saw a picture of, I was with him until he was like, I don't know, 50 pounds, like a good size. So anyway, so she is this very creative spirit. And I think like me, she's struggled lately with getting out those creative juices. Because like I used to paint a lot and I don't really anymore. And then I used to draw before that and I don't really do that anymore. So the journaling was great for me to get out those creative juices. So I reached out to her and I want to do this a little bit more. And I was basically like, look, this is my idea. What do you think? Like, would you be interested in that? Would that be something? Because like she may be somebody that I would bring in and like have her test it for free kind of a thing, but she would kind of be my ideal person. And so she was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I love it. And she's like, I'm going to think of all sorts of things that like I would need that you could help me with theoretically. So she sent me some really cool stuff today. And and basically to put a bug in both of your ears too, if you think of anything.
Yeah.
She said, I really want to do this bullet journaling thing, and I want to have my whole schedule and all my to-do items on like 2 pages. So that's like one, they call it a spread. So like 2 pages is like your week. And she was like, I want to be able to do my work stuff on there, all the kids' sports, my fitness stuff, and like everything. And she's like, well, I was thinking at first I could have 2 pages, and that just overwhelmed me, which it would. It's crazy because I know she's going to want to make it beautiful and like do all this stuff. She's not going to have it plain Jane. So I was like, perfect. I was like, you know what? I think I might get another notebook and just start doing like faux setups. And this is like the busy mom one. And this is an example because a lot of time, like I share what my weekly setups look like before I put anything on them. And I feel like that's cool, but it doesn't really show them getting used as much. And mostly because like, I mean, I've got like client stuff on there. I don't really want to share that with the world necessarily, you know? So sidebar to that, I have another friend that said basically to that point, she's like, I love doing this, and she's like, I've been playing around with it and you've kind of pushed me to explore it more. But by the end of the week, my journal looks like crap and I don't like it. And it's just ugly now. And it started off beautiful. And I was like, you know what? I have lots of techniques that I use to make sure that it stays pretty so that it still feels good by the end of the week. And even though you've drawn on it and you've checked things off and you've written things down, it's still beautiful and it's still something that you can go back to and you can say, oh, it's like that felt good and it's so pretty still. So I was like, I'm kind of thinking now that I may do, which is extra work for me, but I think it'll be beneficial, doing this like kind of faux setup thing where I do different, I don't know, I've like, maybe it's my avatar and I do her life and that kind of thing. So,
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple thoughts.
Yes.
So
hit me with it.
One for like baby to be, like for an expected mom, like,
yeah.
I mean, first of all, you could literally do a journal for every single week of pregnancy, of like stuff that they should be thinking about that week, you know, like,
perfect.
This would be more of a prompting for them, like, but like, you know, on week 20, like, did you find out the gender?
Mm-hmm.
What color are you going to paint the nursery? Like, just different things like that. And then you could do like, a baby shower one, like gifts that you received, what do you still need, and then also I came up with that thought because this was my original one, breastfeeding, like holy cow. So when I the hospital actually gave me this really great chart of what side the baby fed on last, as well as how many poops and pees throughout like the first week of life, because it's supposed to go up. And you want to just make sure that you're monitoring that. I'm sure that you could do a quick Google of like the actual number. I can actually
like the
see
content. Yeah.
if I can find the page, I'll send you a picture of it.
Yeah.
But just like, I mean, I don't know how much like a new mama is necessarily going to be able to like sit and make it totally beautiful, but like maybe she will. Maybe that's her outlet. Maybe that's her one thing throughout that time. But just different prompts like that. Like and the memory stuff, because like seriously, like you laugh, but like there are times that you literally don't remember which side that you fed your child on, and that's not safe necessarily. Like mastitis can occur because one side gets, it's just mess.
Absolutely.
But, so those would be two.
No, I love that. That's perfect.
Oh, you know what you could do too? Like you could do, there's so many things like for people with all their interests and stuff. Like you could do like, because I once made, because I really like birds and animals and nature and everything and weather and stuff. So I made this whole, like, it wasn't nice at all, but I made this whole notebook where I could like, it started with, I was doing this bird count thing for the Audubon Society. So I had to like write down each bird that I saw, like how many cardinals, how many blue jays, like that whole weekend.
Yeah.
And then like the weather. And then I made this whole journal once about like what the weather was, because somebody told me, one of my clients had told me that they had recorded the weather and they had recorded it was like during the war or something, and they had recorded and their thoughts. And so it's like a journal so I wasn't, it wasn't the war or anything. I was just doing my bird. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep a journal of all the birds I see, what the weather was, what time of year it was, the temperature, like anything. You could that's my geeky thing, but
I love that.
and you could people could draw little bird pictures in it.
Yeah.
Well, while you're into nature or weather, you get all those people with those radios and they're always recording the weather, and just something that's just like one idea, but there's so many things that people like to chart about and record and journal about and write their thoughts about what was going on that day. Or
I love that.
That prompted a thought for me, vacation planning. So like you can do vacation planning journal pages of like, okay, one of the lists is like to pack, right? Yeah. And then like, what does the weather look like for that week? Like that's what prompted that for me.
And then bring it with you on your vacation and write down.
I've got one of those.
You did that day. And
I absolutely love, actually I can show you guys. I have a packing list because I'm really weird about packing. Side story. I used to try on every outfit that I would pack and I would take a picture, because I am one of those people that need to like, it's very important for me to like feel good in what I'm wearing that day. Mm-hmm. And so I would make a list every single time I traveled, which is a decent amount. And then I was like, this is silly. I make the same gosh darn list every time. So I made a list in my journal, and I've got like highlighted cold weather items versus like hot weather items. So I literally just go down this now, and oh my gosh, it's so much easier.
We'll talk about that system, right?
Yes. Yes. I thought of it actually with you doing that.
It's great.
That's so good.
Let me ask you that. So I just need, I guess, the issue with all of this now, because I love all of this and these ideas, and it's great. I need to, I guess, connect the dots between doing the extra work, which again, I don't mind because it's fun for me. It's enjoyable, and adding value and how that kind of, you know what I mean? Like how it connects, because some of these are going to be very specialized for certain types of people, obviously. So I guess I just need to think through that and how that's all going to work. If I don't know if I have like a template area where I just kind of keep adding to it to sort of give people ideas and inspiration, or if it's, I don't know.
So Nikki, are you going to have people coming to your blog and you're going to like blog different journals, or are you going to have clients that you're going to specifically help make journals with? Like how is that all going to work?
I would like it to be, more set it and forget it as much as possible. So that's why I like the idea of like a membership area where I
Mhm.
set up this content, and then that's why it would be like I don't know, I'll just stay with it like 10 weeks to figure out what you really want in life. Let's say that. And then maybe I have certain templates and certain content that goes with that. And maybe I have other sort of courses or challenges. I would then use the blog to kind of be the free content area to say like, this is why you need to be journaling. This is why it's so important. I've got a whole list of ideas going for around like getting people in, and then having a call to action to say, you want more, you want to like join these
Right.
groups. This is what we've got going on right now to kind of get people into the membership area.
Oh, that's
Does
great.
that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited. And then, so the other thing with all of this, because I love it, I had like kind of a concern today, I guess, with all of it, in that, Jillian, you always say, and it really strikes home with me, like teach to you, the you of the past, you 5 minutes ago. The problem with many of these ideas is this is me in 5 minutes.
You know
So
what
it's
though?
not me yet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's okay because
You know what I mean, though? I'm like,
yeah, no. I totally do on a lot of different fronts, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I relate to that so much. So that's okay because you're thinking with that mind of your future self, right?
Yeah,
So
because I'm like, I love the idea about the breast journaling or the breast
right,
feeding journaling, because I'll have to do that hopefully soon.
yes,
So I'm only giving myself good information, so I'm
yes.
fine with it. But I don't want to come across as, oh, I totally know what I'm talking about. I've
But
never breastfed in my life, but I totally know what I'm talking
no,
about.
but for this type of thing, like you can do a little bit of research and
Yeah,
get the information that you need based on that. And you can make updates to it later on, right? Like
that's true.
you can market it in such a way of like, I create these things based on what I've experienced, but I also create these things to proactively set myself up for success with what's coming down the line.
Yeah,
It's exactly what you're doing with this.
yeah,
So then when you do experience it, you can see how helpful or it is and then also what needs to be tweaked. So
right.
that's okay. And I
Yeah,
was also thinking like you could create your journal and then you could do two things, any bonus thing, like any of like the totally out of the box like specialty thing, you could sell them for, hey, I just created this, add this to your journal for whatever.
hmm,
You could also use that as free leverage in the future for like new launches of selling it again, right?
yeah,
So like
yeah.
I created this journal 6 months ago. I have since added these 6 new templates. By now, I'll give you the 6 templates for free. They're normally
Mm,
X amount.
yeah,
So that's anytime you create content, you can do amazing things with it. Whether it's giving it for free to get people in the door somewhere, giving it for
mhm,
free to make a sale, or making a sale off those. And it's really powerful to have tools that you do sell for something that you can say during different times, I normally sell these for X and I'm
mhm,
giving them to you for free right now. Right. And
right.
that may be something that you could apply to your birds business at some point too, right? Like, and that's when you're focusing. I mean, because you even said like, things are happening and you're not even really advertising or doing anything for that right now. So when you dive into that world, you'll have that up your sleeve to know that you can do in the future. And like, just, I mean, think about how many people are going to be so happy with everything that you're created. Think about how much money you're going to be making in the future because you're making it now and you're not even trying. Like you're not even trying, you know what I mean? But like,
I
you're
know
not like,
now, but still how I've always done it. Yeah.
yeah. And it's amazing. So, and like, but you're not advertising. You're not like, you're out there. You've done the work. So, like,
I mean,
it's totally.
hired people, so I've just like told everybody. But yeah, I haven't done any social media stuff really. I haven't even updated my website. So yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't even done anything is like the biggest tongue in cheek
Well, I
comment ever, but like,
that's
you know,
what-
like you're not actively pursuing it right now, right?
I know what you mean.
I know, but I needed to clarify because I would have gone to bed like, oh,
Oh,
Jill.
I wouldn't think that. No, I know what you meant. No, that's what I'm saying too. I haven't done anything like for this new stuff. Like
Yeah.
this is all this coming from the stuff I did. You know, I went to school and then I worked at the hospital and I met all these people and I've been working in the community for 7 years. But I mean, I would have done that anyways. But then there's all this new stuff I'm going to do. So I feel more confident about like this is actually going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Once it starts working, like you know, like Nikki with your blog. I mean, once you start, like people start giving you money for you know the journaling and you know I mean that's so exciting, that is so fun, what a fun business you know that's going to be. But once people start, it's even like once I got my first client like way back, I was like, oh my god, well you know, I mean you have another business like you know, once people start, especially for your like that's your like art and your like cool thing that is creative and everything, that's the best. And then you get like, oh my god, this is gonna work, this is working, it's so exciting, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
But it's so fun too,
It's
like that
so fun.
like with your it's your art, you know.
Yeah.
It's just cool. I love to journal anyways. I love
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm not gonna show you because it's really crappy compared to yours, but I got so inspired by your journaling when you
Oh,
showed
yay.
I went out, I bought magic markers and I bought colored pencils and I made my chart where I put all my clients, the hours and everybody that work and everything. I made that all fancy and pretty colors and I drew leaves on it and
Oh, yay.
that's awesome. I love
Oh, that makes me so happy.
and it made my you know what? It made my all that stuff that I normally have to write down and everything. It just made it, I don't know. I was just more excited about it. Like I was like, oh, I can't wait to go write this stuff down.
Yeah.
Journal, you know, not journal, but it was like my, I don't know what I call it, my notebook where I keep all the stuff.
I used to have one and I called it my book of everything.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point, is it makes it so much more fun and enjoyable, and it's not like a sticky note that I
Right.
keep adding to a pile of them.
Yeah.
So I love that. Yay.
I think it's going to be big because it was so fun. And then I made a chart, which I didn't necessarily fill in every day, but but I did. I made it all with my colored pencils, and
Yeah.
it was so
That's
fun to do.
awesome.
So awesome.
Thank you for telling me that. That's amazing. I love it.
I was so excited. I was at Michael's, so I had to go there to get supplies for like my beads, for my eyes, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a really nice. Oh, I'll show you outside. You see this? Isn't that pretty?
That's so pretty.
So I got that, and then I got my markers, and like it's all like I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff now.
Yay.
Like it made me feel like I gotta make everything nicer. Like
Yeah.
that's of life, like making it really pretty and nice. You know, it doesn't all have to be like math all the time.
Yeah.
That's so true. I love it.
I love that quote. It doesn't have to be all like math all the time.
Because it's like
That was good.
hours and what my employees are working and how much money they made and how much money I made and you know like all that. But it could be pretty too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So good.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Love it.
Can we help you with anything else on that? Do you feel good?
Yeah, I think I just need to think through. I guess the thing now is like, okay, if I do templates and I'm almost thinking now like packs. I like the idea of like a pack of things, like for the mom to be, like the pack of templates, and like the busy mom pack of, you know, or like the entrepreneur, like whoever.
Yeah.
But I guess I just need to figure out, I need to do some research to see how that's sold, because I can't, if I do it as like a template, I don't know what people would rather. Like, I personally don't want to print something out to like put in my journal. Like, I want to do it myself. So I need to figure out how to connect the two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just my personal preference. Because I know some women would want to print it out, but then it's like, then you have a piece of paper? Do you like glue it in? Like just like logistically how that would work. And then like selling it, if I take a picture of it, then that kind of defeats the purpose, because then you could I don't know. I just need to think through that, I guess, a little bit and do some more research around, because now it's going to be more just journaling. So for Danielle, bullet journaling is copyright. So I need to just say like journaling, which is fine. I've moved past, I've accepted it and I moved on.
Yeah.
So that's good. So yeah, it's just logistic stuff.
Yeah, work through that. But work through it, like do a quick meditation, right? And like clear your mind, and then say, okay, universe, like let's get the logistic stuff out now that I'm in space, right? Because that'll just help you do that.
Right. And I think I would like to lean more on like my people. That would be people like I never would have thought really to ask my friend Heidi, but then I was like, well, why wouldn't I? That's dumb. Like, why spend all this time making something and then not ask your target audience? Like, that's what I tell people to do every day. So maybe I would just ask her, because I know she would be the same as me. Like, she would want, because she told me she like wanted the template. So I don't know if it's just a matter of like seeing that and that would be enough for people. I don't know. So
well, yeah, talk through with her.
Yeah.
What would she want?
Yeah.
Hey, it would be good to get a lot of different people's opinions about what they want, because everybody has a little bit different life. I mean, like I was thinking when Jillian was saying breastfeeding, I was thinking like when my son was looking at colleges, like that's a whole nother part of life that was huge. It was huge. Like just like everything he needed for the end of like the last couple of years of high school and the touring all the colleges. And I had charts. Because I do everything for him.
Yeah.
Because he would have just gone, yeah, I'll go to that one. Everywhere
Boys.
We went, like, what did we like the food? Did they have sports? Whatever. And then we had like all these like, just different ways we picked and what he liked. And I had all these. It was fun. I just liked doing that.
Yeah.
A whole nother, and then packing and what does he need for college and what papers does he need? Like, just there's so many things when your kid goes off to college, for another part of life, like I'm past all of that. So that's what I concentrated on that for like 2 years. So, getting him into college and.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so powerful. Actually, what you just said, Danielle, like, Nikki, these types of journals literally could be for everybody. Like you've got your avatar, so the person that you're serving, but you guys both know that like when you talk to that person, it impacts other people just in slightly different ways. So this is not limited to, it's only this type of person that's going to be this product, So like do like one-on-one market research with people in different stages of life and say, okay, what would make them allow for them to let you be them of 5 minutes ago, right? And like pick like, okay, what is it that you're focusing on right now that that would be super helpful? Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because when I think about people who are like 20 years older than me, and they're like my clients' kids, so they're retiring, but they're also taking care of their elderly parents. Like those people have a whole nother like to do, like thing that they're probably like would be great for them to journal about, because they've got all these emotions, and then they've got all their mothers, maybe their 85, 90-year-old mother. They're trying to like keep track of everything she's doing. Like that's a big thing right now for like people who are in their 60s, say that they have.
I could talk to my mom because she took care of her mom, and there was a lot of emotions there.
Emotion and a lot of to-dos and a lot of things that I got to think about this. And it's also like this poignant time, and journaling would be great for those people because they're all really stressed.
Well, and to that point, I mean, this one obviously would have to be handled with grace, which you are like the queen of, because you're so kind and you're so thoughtful. But people with living with people with illnesses, like yucky stuff, right? Like, first of all, they need an outlet, because it's often the caretaker that is bearing the brunt of the emotions, right? Like they're watching somebody go through this. So, I mean, but like how many times, what doctor's appointments do they have? When do they have to take medications? When do they have to have
That's
X,
huge.
Y, and Z, you know, like, and to be able to add a little beauty to that,
Mhm.
that time frame, like that could be really powerful.
Yeah, I
That's
love that.
Yeah.
And maybe I do.
I mean, there's so many women with breast cancer, you know, like that whole,
I actually, I have a client that's doing oh my gosh, I love this project. Sorry, side note. She's
Oh my
like the most incredible woman, and she's had, um, I don't know if it was ovarian or cervical cancer twice.
oh,
The poor thing, and she's in remission now, but she's doing a passion project on her journey and like telling her story, and she's totally stepping outside of her comfort zone and talking about it, and she's like just the most inspirational woman that I think I've ever met. Like she's just the coolest. And yeah, so like that kind of and maybe I don't know, maybe I like write up a blog post about like the new mommy or whatever, and I put together 10 templates, and I'm going to show you one of them just for free, but then you can get the other 10, and then you can print it out and use it if you don't feel creative, or you can use it to like trace in your own journal if you want a little bit more, or you could recreate it if you're like uber creative.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
oh, you know what?
that.
Like, what about people who, well, I mean, it's more like it's a kind of more for women probably. Like somebody that has like their spouse in the service, you know, like
Ooh,
with so many people in the service, and
yeah.
then maybe the wife, say, just for example,
Yeah.
is home, you know, and so she's got all
Yeah.
this stuff that she needs to like send to her husband, say, and do all, you know, but then she's got all her emotions, and then she's got, I don't know, she just wants to be creative with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's scary and
I love it.
Um,
I actually have a friend who just had a baby, and now her husband is deployed for 6 months. So she would be an awesome person to ask about that, because I know she definitely needs an outlet or two.
fearless.
kids and activities,
Mhm.
all the
That's
activities.
that's like a whole book. I know.
Yeah, seriously. But one other thing I was thinking of, like, particularly for like the one, like if somebody has cancer or something like that,
Mhm.
you could utilize that in like a philanthropic way and say 25% of the proceeds, 10% of the proceeds go to
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z,
Oh, that's
I
great.
love that.
so that you know, like that's your way of contributing back to the world through literally through doing what you have as a gift, and this is how you're giving back, you know, like
I
that's
love that. Because
Mhm.
I feel so bad. I'm historically very bad at that. I will totally admit that. It's not my first natural thought,
no,
unfortunately,
Not mine
but
either.
I love that.
it's not many people's. And actually I heard it on a podcast today, and that's what triggered it for me. I don't have anything like that set up right now, you know, like we've done things, but wouldn't it be cool if like right from the beginning you said 10% of the proceeds for
Yeah.
this template go to whatever.
And that's where I would love to bring in, you know, somebody else that's been through it, like this woman, Christine, that I'm thinking of. Like if I can, I don't know, like just bring her in as like a collaborator, as someone having gone through the experience, to say like, this would have been really helpful, or that, you know, that kind of thing. So yay, thank you guys. I love this.
And everybody likes to talk about themselves and talk about
That's-
what they did and everything. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, I love it so
Super
much.
exciting.
I know. This is amazing. So I'll give you guys a quick update for me. So I've had a couple different thoughts. One, so I don't even know if I shared with both of you guys, but like the thing that brought me here to like this present moment and like stepping out of the umbrella of just Beachbody and like really wanting to create a life and business coaching business. And I know that you guys have both seen my posts. Like I've been hiding from the fact that like I am a life coach. Like
Yeah.
Like I am. That's what I am. That's who I am. I have been my entire life. So navigating some roads, but it just has provided me with such clarity. It doesn't necessarily even change anything that I'm doing like at all, but it just gives me clarity and I can stand behind it and like stand really as like the true you, like the true me. So, but the very first thing that like caused this for me is like earlier this year I was like, I feel like I would love to be a podcaster. Like I need to get into podcasting. Like that was just my thing. And so many people have said to me like, can I have a call with you like first thing in the morning? Like you energize me so much. Like Nikki has told me like I watch your videos when I have breakfast. Like I love that. Like Danielle, like what you said about like how give me the stuff like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get it done. Like that's me. So I had a couple of thoughts, and one was, wouldn't it be cool if I had a podcast that was like 5 minutes every morning of going over gratitudes, giving an affirmation, and then just doing a pep talk like I did this week in the group. So there's that I'm going through different thought processes on. And then the second thing was like, Nikki inspired me and somebody else like gave me this thought about making my own journal that would help people to discover who they are, right? Because like I love that. Like that is so part of what I've done for myself this year, as well as like what I feel like I'm good at with helping other people to do. So, and like linking the two, right? Because like the podcast could be like, okay, what are the 3 things that you're grateful for? Whip out your journal, whip out your who am I journal or whatever it is. And so they could kind of go hand in hand. So that's my thoughts. More to come on that. Like I'm just totally navigating all these brand new thoughts for the first time ever. But I'm like super focused. I really am ready to bring in, I'm like new clients, obviously, but like also I've just created space for all these different thoughts to pop up and they excite me so much. And it's just so cool. So that's
awesome.
Like you're so good at, like when we sit down to meditate, you're like, I don't really know what I'm going to say, but I would have the thing planned out for like a week, you know, I would not know what to say. I would just forget what I was thinking, you know?
I know. It's funny. I did a team retreat for my the leaders on my Beachbody team in March of this year. And I wanted to do nightly meditations. Like that was when I was first starting to get into that world anyway, but I had planned to like have guided meditations just on my phone or whatever. And then like the first night I was just like, I'm going to just do it. And I just spoke from like my heart and through the couple of glasses of wine that I had, and that made it a little bit easier. But and they all looked at me, they were like, when did you learn how to do that? I was like, right now. Like, saw it right now. And they were like, what? So I feel like that stuff comes easy to me. So it's just like diving in and trusting my intuition on those things.
I love it.
Let's start
That's
interviewing
really awesome.
people too eventually, like we do on the other podcasts.
I
Right?
know. Well, and that's kind of like, what are you guys' thoughts? Because I love the idea of like the pump up thing in the morning, but like ultimately I do want to have podcasts that are longer than 5 minutes. Because you guys know me, like talking for 5 minutes is like nothing. Like 5 hours maybe. Like, so I do want to eventually get into there. So like, do I have 2 podcasts? Do I have one that's very specific for the Start Your Morning with Jillian or whatever, and then have another one that kind of like, I don't know, they kind of like segue, or do I keep it in one? I don't know.
What if you started with that one, the 5 minutes of Jillian in the morning, and then ask people, down the road a little bit, like, oh, what else would you like to hear about? And then you could grow it or could make it a little longer,
Yeah.
and then you could like morph it into something much bigger.
Yeah.
You could write a book and go on tour. And
We talked about the book.
We talked about the book. I know.
Okay.
I want to speak. Like, I want to be a speaker. Like that's a main goal of mine. So
what about if you do like this kind of start your day with Jillian idea, but then eventually if you do bigger and longer ones, maybe it's like end your day with Jillian too. And that's like the other piece of it. So it's not
Cool.
it's not like its own channel, but it's branded a little bit differently,
Yeah.
or like something like that.
Yeah.
But you could house it on your, because there's a lot of different services that do it. Like SoundCloud, I think, is a big one.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
say
know. I
there's
seriously
a lot.
know nothing about
Yeah,
at all
it's
about it.
and it's basically just recording services, and I think they help you publish them too. Like if you want it on iTunes or if you want it, in certain places. But then you can put it on your blog, and then depending on what works better, because you'd have to experiment a little bit, you could link from all your Facebook stuff over to the blog to get people over there, and then they listen to it, and then it's like in all these different places, and so you're capturing all these different people for
Yeah.
like 5 minutes of content. It's crazy.
Yeah. It excites me so much.
Yeah.
So with a podcast, like when it gets really big and popular, people like, do they advertise on it? Or like, how does that work?
Yeah. You have to have, I think it's like 10,000
Followers
or like, yeah.
That's how it is on YouTube too.
Yeah.
You have to have like 10,000 views to have an advertising account.
Yeah. So, but that's huge, right? So another stream of revenue, So like not only is it, and I think just podcasting is so amazing because like it allows for people to like consume. And then like when they're ready, and they know where you are because you say it in every episode. And like, there's not a lot of like, I mean, obviously it's work to create the content, but there's not a lot of like
no overhead.
And there's no interactive back and forth that you have to do. Like when you make a post, you have to be present on the post and communicate back and forth, and like that can take time. But with the podcast, like people are just like, yep, know you, like you, want to work with you. That's why I chose my business coach. I started listening to her podcast, and I listened to it for a year and got on her email list, right? Like started following her Facebook. So like I did the thing that all the entrepreneurs want us to do, right? So, yeah.
Now you
That's
could
super exciting.
a lot more clients that way from all over the world, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So,
That's so cool.
I like Nikki too. I do. I like, look, what's Jillian saying now? She got any advice for me out there? Like during my day when I'm like waiting for something, I'm like, oh, what Jillian say?
Yeah. And I search for it too, because you've got so many different like channels that I'm on of yours. So I'm like, I've literally stalked you before where I'm like, I need a little pick me up. And I'll literally go to all your pages to see if there's something that I've missed. Like
so sweet.
I'm admitting my creepiness to you.
I love it. But like, hello, that's what we love to hear.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, yeah. Good.
And a lot of when you're doing like a live, like the other day I came on and I'm like, oh, great, Jillian's live. I was in the grocery store parking lot. I'm like, what? I'll just look for a minute. What's she saying? And then somebody called me and I was like, oh.
Man. You're interrupting my Jillian time.
It's
True.
Oh my gosh. I just love you guys so much.
Did you do the book thing for the journaling side, or were you thinking just like a book?
I don't even know with that. Like, I feel like the journal would be the first step.
Mhm.
Because like I feel like I've got a workbook in me. Like the journal would be like kind of like workbook style. Like I would kind of do prompts and ask questions, but I'd want to keep it brief. I don't know, like seriously, like the thoughts are just swirling right now, but I feel like a book would come next. So the book would be like taking all the 5-minute things and then turning them into like a 365 days of pump ups, right? So like I'd already have the content and then from the podcast, and then could transcribe them, turn them into a book, and there it is, like done.
So for you, Danielle, if you're ever interested, we were leaving voice chats, Jillian and I, earlier today, and I was like, I don't know why I haven't been just writing books all these years, because the overhead for that is also very low, surprisingly. I turned short story. I've done 2 self-published books for clients where I copy edited them for them, but basically you just take a PDF
Uh-huh.
and use something like Amazon services called CreateSpace. You make it the right size, you upload it, boom, done.
Wow.
You
Oh,
need a cover, so a designer's helpful there. But you could use like 99 Designs where you can bid out a design and you pay some designer anywhere in the world $50 for a cover,
Dave is
whatever.
a designer, so he could design my book.
Perfect. Yeah.
My art.
And then you need an ISBN, which is about $100.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. And they print on demand from Amazon, so you don't have any overhead. As like you pay a percentage of the cost of the book. But I'm like, she was asking me questions, and I'm like,
yeah, the Amazon don't the thing where if somebody wants a printed book, they just print it like one per.
yeah, it's on demand printing. It's crazy.
We should all write a book.
I know. I'm like, I've done it for other people, and I'm like, why haven't I been doing this?
I know.
It's crazy.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So great. Actually, one of my very best friends, she's got like 5 books sitting right here. I'm like, would you just flip and get them on paper? And now that I know how easy it is, I'm going to message her after this and be like, seriously.
I know.
And you can you can use through CreateSpace. They offer like packages where they'll design stuff for you. They'll take your PDFs and make them the right size. Like they'll do it for you if you want, but I mean, you can figure it out. It's not rocket science.
Oh,
That's so exciting. There's so many things we can do.
so many things. We learned about Craftsy last week, and we're learning about Amazon publishing this week. Like, it's amazing.
I'm going to try to do a Craftsy. I've got to figure that out as soon as I have time. How to do a class online, because that's going to be great, because I'm going to make the class and then they're just going to play it for me every time somebody buys it, and I'm going to make
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so many things.
I was gonna say, could you write a book on that? On how
I could put all my that's how I learned to do this. I learned from a book, but I mean the animals I learned on were not very good. Like when I look at them now, they're like I learned from them. Like not to brag or anything, but they're
No, you should.
Good.
Mine, even the ones I teach for my classes, which are pretty simple, are much cuter than that book. So I could put a whole book together. Like I have, I don't know, 7 kits right now.
And you've got a photographer living in your house. You should totally make the book.
Well, I already have like half the book made, really, because all I would have to do, because my idea for like my directions for my kits came from how I learned from that book. So I already got 7 animals for that book, all printed out and done and PDF. Yeah, so I just need maybe 7 more, which I can do maybe right after Christmas and put a book together. Yeah, sell that. So yeah, I can do that.
Then your cha-ching will be going off even more.
Yeah, probably.
Oh
Because right now they're buying just one of those, like one page from that book, but they could buy a book for like $20-$30, something like that. Yeah. So I'll do that. Yeah. I thought of that. Yeah.
My mind is like blowing up right now. Holy moly. This has been awesome. This has been such a good call, you guys. Oh my gosh, holy ideas. This is amazing. All right. Danielle has some emails to write.
Yeah.
And I need to send you your list, and Nikki, I will send you anything else that comes my way.
Yeah, just if you ladies think of something, just let me know.
Okay. So let me look at my calendar. Oh, please. So we are, oh my gosh, last week in September. What
about one more idea? What about you could do something for how everybody likes to cook so much, the whole world loves to cook all the time. You could do it something for people who are learning to cook or becoming chefs, or
ooh,
recipes.
They could do their recipes, and they could do what their ingredients they need to buy for certain recipes. People are just really into cooking. I'm not, but I know people are.
Oh my gosh, then I'm totally having my Dave do that, because he's the world's best cook.
Oh,
bar none.
great.
Like, I
See?
swear. I'm like,
Oh,
you
yes.
need to have a restaurant as your second career because it's ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Okay, that was my idea.
I love it. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. So ladies, we have actually we've got 2 weeks off, and then with this, I tried to keep it every other week as much as I could, but I'm traveling a couple times, so it kind of messes with the schedule a little bit. But we've got then 2 in a row, so 2 weeks in a row. So the next time we'll chat is October 19th, and then the 26th. I'm going to be in Mexico on the 12th, so
Fun.
I love you
What
guys,
for?
I'm not calling from Mexico.
Is it a Beachbody thing?
Yeah, one of my upline coaches did a retreat. Like you had to earn a certain rank within it, and I did. So it's like
Congratulations.
I just had to pay for my plane ticket, and it's an all inclusive. Like everything is seriously covered. I'm so excited.
Wow.
And it's like rides from the airport and to the hotel and everything.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Huh?
Fun.
Puerto Vallarta.
Oh.
Yeah, so on like the west coast of Mexico. Yeah, it's gonna be super fun.
It's amazing.
I can't wait.
it's gonna be fun.
So, but in the meantime, I completed the module 4 write-up for you guys. So I'm gonna record the video and I'll plop that into the group next week. And then I think I'm gonna start rolling with like bonus content stuff, like based on like specific things. Like I'll do a training on time management, right? And then I'll do a training like on like social media or like your pertinent questions. So look for my posts in the group of like, okay, what do you want to know? Like stuff that I can research for you or stuff that I can speak to like personally, so we can kind of get into like exactly where you guys want to go with it. I felt really passionate about doing the True You Shine Through because I just feel like that's such a good base to start with, and then we can kind of grow and go from there.
Awesome. Exciting.
All right, you guys, have an amazing night. Thank you for this call. This was so, oh, my soul needed this. I loved it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Bye.
Mhm.